The Football Pod Club, on Off the Ball, in partnership with AIB, proud supporters of the AIB All-Ireland Club Championships for men's football, hurling, ladies football and camogie, because we believe support is what gets you the life you're truly after.
How's it going? And you're very welcome along to the Football Pod Club, brought to you with thanks to AIB. We are back with Paddy and James, and we've got a very special guest with us, Padraic Joyce. Padraic, you've brought us to your home here of Killererin in North Galway. How's it going?
All good, yeah.
Thanks for welcoming us along.
No problem.
Yeah, we're on the road a little bit with thanks to AIB over the last couple of weeks, and we're bringing you a couple of episodes. Paddy and James, how did you get on making your way down to Killererin today?
I tell you what, the roads have a lot to answer for. Flat tire I had straight away.
I got a call about an hour ago. Where are you? Can you come back for me?
Thank God you could.
But it's already the motorways.
It was lashing rain, flat tire, pulled in, no spare tire. Had to stand there waiting for Tommy, got soaked. Oh, it's just nightmare stuff. So I'll be going back now to the side of the road to collect the car.
He's still a baby. You have a child there. I thought you're meant to be like mature now and be able to deal with these things. Like, geez.
It's fine, no, I have it sorted, but...
Some fellas never grow up. Padraic, we are in rural Galway here. This is your club, it's your home. You grew up very close to here?
Yeah, we're in Barren, which would be the village in the parish as such. Very, very small parish. Been very successful in the football terms over the years and probably boxed above our weight, but currently we're probably not where we want to be as a club, you know. We're in a fabulous clubhouse here at the minute. As I said to you, earlier on, that was built by the locals here, local kind of voluntary labour, voluntary, wasn't much, it was a huge building in fairness, but an awful lot of good work was done by local people, voluntary weekends and that kind of stuff. And unfortunately we're down playing junior football in the lowest division in Galway. So you'd wonder, we had no facilities and we're winning senior championships, so now we have facilities and we're in junior.
Something in that there.
Something wrong somewhere, you know.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's a story that's replicated around. Like, you had an unbelievable generation, we'll get into that in a little while, that managed to plunder 4 county titles between 99 and 2010, am I right?
Yeah, we probably won 4, but we probably lost a couple as well along the way, Tommy, yeah. But we had a great bunch of kind of group of players at the time. But again, you know yourself, club, like small, like you had 3 Joyces, you had 3 Wilsons, you had the Mitchells, Mannions, Paul Miskett, you know, go through all the names, you know, it was still picking from 11 or 12 families, you know.
And you can probably pick out the houses looking out the window.
You could, yeah, you know. And back then as well, like, you know, there was an awful sense of honesty and belonging for the club back then, you know. Like, you dared miss a club session, like, even though you're in Galway training, if you came back out playing club, like, you know, you'd see one of either Tony Mannion or Seamus would let you know, like, if you missed one, you know, in case you get a bit carried away or big-headed, you know. There was great ethos in the club at the time, great crack, you know, and really magical times at the club, to be honest, back then, yeah.
Have we lost a bit of that?
I think so, yeah, I do. I think you can see that current generation players, you know, you can see the dropouts from football and stuff, lads, they kind of take it or leave it, you know, take a year out and come back or go in and out, you know. It's just something I wouldn't be used to, you know. And I'm not a dinosaur by any means of imagination, and I've learned to change my ways, obviously, when you get involved managing players, like, but sometimes it would frustrate you, you know, the way lads do behave sometimes. But look, it is what it is. You have to roll with the punches and move with the times as such, you know.
That group, Padraic, that came together and had that success during that decade, but was there anything, was it really like a luck of the draw that this group of players were the same age and they came through, or was there some specific coaching underage in the schools or with the club that brought these guys through?
No, just there was no. To be honest, Paddy, the club Killererin, you know, like I think they won a junior title in '68. You know, they won 2 county titles in '76, '78. You know, great characters back then, you know, as well. Yeah. Uncle Billy would have played, Pat Devan, them lads, you know, Stephen Flaherty. They were great clubmen, to mention a few, you know, but like, they would have had 2 county titles, and they went on to win 2 Connachts as well, on top of the 2 counties. And
out of nowhere, really. Yeah,
really. And they won '76, last '77 county final. You know, won again '78, won Connacht again. Came up again, I think, really good Nemo Rangers team along the way, and it was another Kerry team as well. Dr. Crokes another year or something. But you know, we'd won our Ireland with Galway in '98. I'll never forget it. And you walk into the local pub here at the Red Gap, and Alan Kane's dad, Michael, had it at the time, and you'd have Pat Devan in the corner with Billy Dunleavy and Billy Joyce, and they say, "Oh, look at in the county men," and no county middle to them, you know. Even though they had their two, you know. I know, laugh, you know. And then, like, they were slagging in, it was a great crack with them, with them, they've passed away since, some of them, Billy and Pat and Uncle Billy as well, but
They were all involved with the
they were all involved,
team
yeah.
too, with your team.
They ran the club for years, between chairman, treasurer and
everything.
manager. There were something, the four of them or something every year in between, But great crack, mighty characters, but yeah, good times. And then we turned around and I'll never forget that. We Pat Devan's son, then Philip, I met him in Tuam one night and he was shaking my hand. He's a good fella, a good friend of mine. He said, you're well done on winning Ireland. He said, but he said, you won't be a proper footballer. He said, recognised till you win with your club. I just thought that stuck in me. He didn't mean, he meant it in a good way, but it stuck with me. But we went and we won the county final in.
He said that to you in '98.
In '98, yeah, after winning Ireland. I say a month after winning Ireland, which is kind of stuck in my head, We slag about it since, and we're good pals. But in '99, then we won the county final in here at the club, and it was just a start of something kind of magical, We went, we played, got through. I think for years I played with Killererin, maybe last first rounds, second rounds, never went anywhere. That time it was all knockout, the year was over.
Yeah.
And then in '99 we just got in a bit of a run and we ended up in the county final against Carrow, and we drew the first day, but Carrow had Sean O playing, them lads, Kerry McDonough, they had 14 wides in the game. Like we had 2 wides, we drew the game 11 points or 12 points each, I forget, and we won the replay the following week by a point or 2, so lucky. You make her look, but the bunch of players that were there, a lot of them fellas, would have played with a brilliant semi-final against Salthill that time, '99, and never forget it, came out to Tuam, they would have had probably, I'd say, 14, 15 county players on the panel that would have played county at some stage, and we did humdinger for semi-final against them in Tuam on a Saturday even. But for some reason, as well, when we played the club, Killererin were always only put on the last game in Tuam on a Sunday even to that huge crowd draw at the time, because everyone knew us. We probably weren't the most flamboyant team in the world, let's be straight, but we were very hard to beat. Like we'd drag teams down the trenches and get stuck in. We'd win the game by a point, 2 points, all that kind of stuff. So
was that pressure on you? You had to give the magic.
Not really, Paddy. No, I was still young at the time. I was only 21 at the time, 22. Tommy Wilson would have had more of the pressure. He would have been the main county man at the time.
Right, okay.
So no, it was great crack. But
You had your brother Tommy, you had Nicky, your cousin. Was he involved? Was that too young at that time?
he was young. Yeah, Nicky only got involved in it was 04 for Nicky got involved in it. Yeah, so yeah. So
Alan Kane, would Alan Kane have been too young on that team in '99?
I think he played 99. He did play 99. Yeah.
Jesus, there was some group though.
Yeah, we're lucky. Look, we'd the 4 of us that played for county. Tommy Wilson played and Nicky played as well. But you had a lot of lads as well. You had great club players, and Ollie Wilson could have played. Paul Miskin. They were probably at county standard. Didn't get probably lucky in the time. Kevin Courtney would have played really hard. Local fellas here, fit as fiddles all day and running all day. And then you had Tommy Ryder, a few of these fellas that played really good corner forwards, nippy, and they were a nice balance, And you had, obviously, when you're yourself, you're handing out the gear the week before the county final, you'd get a few more coming in. Yeah. We wouldn't have any, definitely no more than 26, 27.
The tight group.
Just tight group.
You couldn't
Do you reckon you got more satisfaction out of winning with the club than?
I would say so in some of them. Yeah, I just think the club is huge. I know, the further you go on and the more you play with counties, you make better friends and all that kind of stuff. I get all that, but you still go back to your club. Your club is your roots, And I'd always say that. Even the current lads I have in the squad, if you can't perform and stick out for your club, you have no reason, no business coming to play for Galway, So, and I know probably the loyalty to clubs nowadays is probably not as good as it was back in our time, But
I think it's something we should be looking at though, because it's often said the club is where you'll start and it's where you'll.
It's development spots, Tom, because
but where you finish, you're
pulled out of your club quick, aren't you? Like you're pulled out at 14.
That's when the split season is in to try and rectify that. To give club players a 6-month window.
Yeah, but Paddy,
it's not perfect.
Yeah, but Paddy, back in '98, say, when we played with Galway, we would have played every league game with the club.
Yeah.
And that time we had a Super League in Galway, a 16 team league. But we never missed a game. So it just, I don't know,
there's so much more intercounty games now.
I think the communication between counties and county managers has probably lessened over the years, and we want you, and there's just too much pulling and dragging in place.
Sports scientists would have an absolute.
And exactly, they would.
Load management.
They would, yeah.
But there's more. I feel like there's more demand on intercounty players' time away from just Tuesday, Thursday, a gym session, and then we play a game at the weekend. It feels like even when we were playing, we were out a couple of years now. Every year it seems to be more and more demand.
Yeah.
37 days a week, and then there is that piece around the sports science going. There's no chance you're going back playing the club game and going, I'm so with the county team. And it's just there's a balance that's not struck.
Yeah, it's not there, and you can see then those years in gone by where you'd have a really good club player and he'd been with the county team and he wasn't quite making the county team. Next thing he's training all year round and he's no game played. He comes back in the club and he's gone backwards more than
it causes ructions.
Gone forward,
Everyone would hold up Cody's Kilkenny team. They played their club championship the whole way through.
Yeah,
they play all their matches.
They played the week before nearly the
All-Ireland. And it was like, why are other counties not doing that? And look, Dublin we were bad for it as well. You go 9 months, you play around at the start of the year, and then you wouldn't be seen until after the All-Ireland.
You could win your All-Ireland in October, and next thing, your club championship would be starting a couple of days later, like, and to be, it was. Yeah. But
but even back then, Tommy, in our time as well, like back in, I think it was like definitely '98, the National League that time as well, like there was on Christmas.
After Christmas.
So they had like 3 games before Christmas and 2 in October, 1 in November, then a break till probably January, February, and then you had 3 more or 4 more, So you probably had about 3 or 4 weeks between every game,
Yeah. There had to be a bit of a want, though, and I know it probably has changed for reasons, but like you definitely wanted to play for your club. And I don't know I know Billy was involved, your uncle, and you were very close with Billy. But like I read a great piece with Paddy Joyce, I think it was in the Irish Examiner at Morris Brosnan, maybe 2 years ago. And I know he only passed away recently, but he told a story, and I don't know if I got the years right, but you're Ireland captain in 2004.
Yeah.
And it's an international rules. You're after winning in Dublin, and there's a club game maybe the next night. And do we just tell us about that? Like,
it was the next morning, like,
the morning after.
It was a Monday, it was a bank holiday weekend. We played Australia in the 2 tests. The second test was in Croke Park, obviously. We won the second test, whatever. I remember he could take us the game, but we had a league match against Carnacashel. Now, Carnacashel, in relevance to Killererin, is about 2.5 hour drive from here, west of, like, our next stop is Clifton, like. So I'm coming up to the Players' Lounge in Croke Park on Sunday night,
And have you won?
And it was 4 or 5 actually, yeah. So like we'd won it. I had the Cormac Allen Cup in one hand and a pint in the other hand, Well, Billy, he says, leave that down. He says, you're coming to Carnacashel in the morning, And I said, geez, Billy, I said, you'll manage it up with me tomorrow, surely. I said, it's not a really important league game. He said, it's a league game. He said, so I said, grand. So I went up and I forgot about myself, ended up in Coppers, of course, and
that can happen.
They were thinking, like, but thankfully I had a friend to drive me down the road. The Dublin Marathon was on the following day or something, trying to drive through police and get down the road. So I landed at Billy's house at 11 o'clock in the morning, and we were leaving at 12. The game's at 3, and all the way out to Carnacashel and played the league match. We won it. I mightn't have been much good now, but and he came back in, but he didn't do it out of spite, He just did it out of, like, the club is the club, like, It's like, you can do what you want up there in Dublin, but you can go back up to me, says the next show was wrecked, obviously. That's what he made me do, like.
I'm glad.
Ireland with a captain comes in place.
I'm glad you corrected the record here, because I had it the other way. I thought you were telling Billy, there's no way I'm missing that.
No. Well, I look at it, I wouldn't have missed it probably anyways, but
I know.
I chanced my arm on it, saying I wouldn't. It was 6 or 5 hour drive effectively from Dublin to Cashel,
What was that like, captaining the Ireland team? Because obviously you have characters from every county, whether you know them or don't know them. You're coming in. What's the captaining?
I'd be a huge advocate for the Australian rules for Irish point of view, because like you're playing like obviously you play with your club, you get picked for your county, then you're playing for your county, like you're hammering lads when you're out, you don't get to play with them. Like the international rules is the only outlet for our footballers to play for their county. There's an outlet in every sport, bar GAA, like, But I got involved a couple of times as a player, and then Pete McGrath made me captain, was huge honour, So, but mighty crack, like the crack was brilliant with the lads, like, Yeah, we trained, like we really enjoyed ourselves. Don't get me wrong, in Australia and when we were around at home in Dublin. But to play with the likes of Kieran McDonald, Steve McDonald, Kieran McGeaney, all these, Kieran McManus, Knopfley, brilliant footballers. Billy Coulter down, like unbelievable footballers. All these guys, like, Darren Fay, you're marking them 1 week, they're playing the next week with them. It's unbelievable, like, and I really enjoyed that side of it. Even I think in 2001 when we beat Meath, we go out to Australia maybe 3 weeks later, and Brian McAniff is over the squad, so we land in, and so I get my room key into my room. I said, like, grand. So there's a big double bed and a single bed. I said, I'm taking the double bed in there for this week. And I come next thing, had the door open, Graham Garrity coming through. He says, fuck's sake, not you. He said, sick looking at you. He said, but ended up with me, great crack, got on really well with Graham, like lovely fella, and we mighty crack. And Cormac Allen was there. He was rooming with Seamus Mine at the time. Who else was there? Kieran Whelan was there with Darragh Shea. We did a great crack. But the 6 of us kind of, we went to explore the town. We landed for a night.
It's not a big positive. Look, it's gotten a lot of negative press, obviously.
It has,
for the younger players, and you do accept that that is very difficult for Kerry in particular. Seem to be one of the counties who've been really hit hardest with that, the likes of Mark O'Connor and things like that. But when you're playing inter-county, you're so. I used to liken it to like a cult. You don't talk to anyone else.
Yeah,
your team. You think everyone is the world's biggest. dickhead.
You don't want to give them anything.
But then when you get to know them,
Yeah, but
outside,
even
like,
but back then,
very normal.
Yeah, but
Same as
back
you.
then, like you hadn't a chance to talk to.
Exactly.
Whereas, because I was saying early on, like one of the prizes for an All-Star in '98 was a mobile phone. That's how far back mobile phones come from.
What was
These lads are kind of
Nokia? Was
Aircell and Vodafone.
a big brick. First, the 9 numbers, and that was it. There was no mess, no WhatsApp anywhere. But whereas now, like lads in college are there's more interaction when lads in college. So lads kind of know each other on more days than what back in our day. But so that was a way out there for us. Look, I enjoyed it, and it was great crack. I had some great friends off it.
The names you reeled through there, it kind of felt like that was the kind of peak of it. Like it was like players at the top of their pomp. Maybe TV coverage has gotten a bit better. The Aussies, there was a bit of bite with the Aussies around that time as well. Obviously, it kind of comes to a head, I think, when Sean Boylan is manager, and there's obviously a couple of unsavoury scenes. But there was a couple of years where it was so cool to watch an Irish team go toe to toe with the Aussies, and like it's like the Galacticos going out, like and
we used to watch it in primary school.
Oh, would you?
Wheel out the TV in primary school to watch it on like a Friday morning or something. So it was like it was big that they were wheeling out the TVs in schools, like.
And did you develop like chemistry with certain fellas from other counties, like on a football field?
Big time, huge time. Like forever, Galway and Kerry would always kind of gravitate. Galway and Meath would gravitate. You divide the Mayo lads until we came across. I went away with James Nallen, David Heaney, and Kieran McDonald. Like, three great guys, like brilliant guys. Like would become good pals with Kieran since. But you just get no fellas. Like at the end of the day, like they're all fighting for their own county. And the fellas actually leave the tour going back thinking. Even I was there involved with. Sean is a selector wonder, and I was saying, those lads there playing, I remember Chris Barra, for example, from Mayo, playing, and he's kind of, I said to myself, always admired as a footballer, but I got to know him personally, I thought, God, he's a guy you'd bring to war with you, a really good fella, and you just have to admire, even though they're from their rival counties, how great lads they are,
Yeah. Galway have kind of gotten away with it, not getting many fellas poached to be brought over. Mayo, obviously, young Kobe McDonald, Kieran's son, is, I think, signed a pre-contract agreement, but there's a long way to go to that. He's got his leaving certain. He's still only a young fella, but if Galway got away with it, I'm not trying to get any scouts to come over towards Galway.
No, we're not good enough, Tommy, here. We've no
Say nothing.
Stay away.
But yeah,
We've had a couple. I think Killy McDade went down there for a year, came back up in bad shape after it.
Did he?
Yeah, they had injuries, and took him a while to get back right.
He's a phenomenal athlete.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Who have they looked at? I know they've looked at Sam O'Neill, James McLaughlin lately, but again, lads have just bad injuries at the minute, bad knee injuries, so that probably scared them away a bit.
It can, you lose one or two of those fellas of that level, that can define a generation of your team.
Mayo had Pierce Hanley. Was on.
Exactly. You're down fellas that calibre.
Yeah.
You're never going to get to the level if you're down one or two of them. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't sit right sometimes.
We had a say in the club here one time, that we're that small, you couldn't afford to lose a supporter or mind a player, and I think it's getting that way with these rare talents. Look at Kobe McDonald now. I don't know the man from Adam, but the bits I've seen on TV of him, the makings of he's an athlete. He can play ball. Obviously it's in the genes as well. So even the Kerry lads going over, Mark O'Connor, them lads. It's tough on the counties to lose them, but it's a massive opportunity for the player, and it's very hard to. It's very hard to criticise the player for taking the opportunity, because it's you're training in the muck and weather here for what to get given out to, and if you lose or win a National League or down there they have the lifestyle, they have everything, they're financially secure for life if they make it. But it's a tough road to make it though. It's a lot of Irish guys have gone over as well and not made it.
True. Yeah.
But again, what's the solution?
I don't know.
I think the GAA need to police this a little bit more and try and maybe help the counties involved with the lads who need to go and. Look, I'm sure this.
It does seem to be getting worse, nearly.
Yeah.
It's becoming more prevalent. Ty Kennelly was obviously mentioned around it a couple of years ago, and it maybe slowed down for a bit. And they obviously cancelled the international rules. I don't think that has made any real difference in terms of the underage side of things. But
some of the scouts though, I think there's a scout in Mayo and a scout in Kerry, and their names are kind of kept under the radar now, but they'll be outed soon enough. Do you know what I mean? They're warned away from games.
You look at Mayo with Kobe McDonald.
That's Oisin Mullen was.
Oisin Mullen as well. Yeah. He's gone. They lost Pierce Hanley before. That's a county knocking on the door to try and get over the line, and it's so close. And those type of players, the reality is, any of the young kids going are stars. That's where they're going.
Yeah.
It's so difficult for a club and a county to look and go, we've put this work into this young flip from when he was 5 years of age, and we're losing them. And look, most of them will come back, but some don't. Mark O'Connor obviously come back and win it with Dingle a couple of weeks ago.
But that was cool.
Imagine for him. But it's a tough situation. GAA probably need to do something, because it does seem to be getting worse.
But the path, and there's a bit of a tangent here, right? But I don't know how or what brought you back. Do you know the line you said there about the club couldn't afford to lose a supporter, never mind the player? But there's the M18 and the M6 now either side of Killererin, right? We came the back roads, was it?
So did I.
Back,
We're going to have to follow him out of here.
But like, when you were coming back from, say, Tralee, where you were in college, or from Dublin, or from wherever you were living, there was nothing but back roads. And like, A Year Till Sunday, I don't know.
Every show this comes up. His favourite movie.
But the opening scene of A Year Till Sunday is a car with the dimmed lights early in the morning, somewhere in Galway, with a radio playing saying Johnno has just been announced as the new Galway manager for 1998. But that must have just been the scene all around the country of fellas going back to train. There's no, But the pathway to Australia now is so simple. It's so there, it's open. I don't know how you slow it down, because the temptation to try and make it in professional now is so beyond, I suppose, what the loyalty was to come back to your home place back then. Like, what was pulling you back? Like, what was that?
It's just the club.
What was the bug?
It's just a club. Like, it's where your heart is. It's where your soul is. You know, and it's also, you just don't want to be letting your friends down. Like the lads you play at the club, like they're the guys you go to school with. Like you fought with them, you fought for them, you fought against them. You know, and when you get something going like that in a club, like it's just you don't want to stay apart of it. You know, and it's I suppose it's respect really, and kind of respect for your teammate more so than anything. You know. Yeah. Back then, I know.
You probably get that, do you? Religion, like you're struggling.
I do. Well, we were struggling.
Like you've
Ontario.
In the sense that, like, you've struggled to win, like what you wanted to win. Do you know, you've fallen short in one or two.
We lost the county final after a replay in extra time by a point. It knocked us back a bit. We lost a lot of players after that. But then we won an O'Donoghue Cup, right, which is just East Kerry. And standing on the field after that game was like we'd won the All-Ireland. Like. So that's why I asked you about, is it the same feeling? Like, I think it's it's
different, yeah.
It's like a deeper feeling when you do win with your club. It's just... But at the same time, the draw to Australia is huge. The only thing is, the money in Australia, I know people are going over and they're saying they're on this big money. I don't think they're earning money at all.
At a
because
rookie level, no.
But yeah, and the Australian dollar will be weak.
Look at this fella. This is a plug for AIB. You work in the bank, yeah.
I'm just, they're going over, they're probably throwing figures at them. But I don't think they're not earning money. Like.
But like, Paddy, you were on the same Aussie Rules trip at under 17s level.
We were the last one.
With Pierce Hanley.
The last one to go, and it was cancelled.
You were a kid.
On the back of that, yeah.
Yeah. Why did you, was it?
No, it was cancelled because actually Shane O'Rourke was the big star at that time. It was 06. And we went down to Australia for 3 weeks and played 3 tests.
Under 17s, like.
Yeah, and so Shane was amazing at the time. Obviously, he was a great player, but he suffered a lot of injuries. But Michael Murphy was on it, Gary Brennan from Clare, myself and Kev Nolan from Dublin. Kev would get man of the match in the All-Ireland final a couple of years later. And then Pierce. And it was like you played the games and it was just a line of scouts at it. And that's Pierce got picked up and he's going to one of the most successful players to go over there. But the GAA at that time said we can't literally bring our best players over on a trial match. Yeah. Because, and for us, it was brilliant from a Dublin perspective because of Pierce Hanley's in that Mayo team. We mightn't have had as much success.
Yeah,
so,
amazing.
But it was as an experience. And like you say, making pals with players from other counties at that age profile, and we'd go on and play against each other throughout your careers. What an incredible experience. And that was only 3 weeks, you know, as kids. Like, so there's definitely merit for it. I think there's a demand for people just to see it, our best players against these professional athletes. But the big issue is, like, that doesn't land well with a club who's just lost.
Even if the International Rules Series is played, like I think that if you're looking at our best senior players playing their best teams, you know, like they're not in the shop window because they're too old, like, you know. So I don't know. It's more. If they don't get you by 18, 19, you get the bad habits out of you. Yeah, they don't want you. You know.
Sure.
Yeah, no, I think. Look, it's probably a conversation for another day. You know, there's big conversations about the All-Stars now being too late. It's too far on from the All-Ireland final. People are finding it hard to argue with the selectors because they can't remember.
This is you justifying your selection here.
Well, nobody knows my selection.
There was no big. Was there any big scandals now this year?
I'm not sure, but
just you and 2 others picked the team.
Just me, James. Just
Tommy or Marty Morrissey.
But it is so far gone now. Like the split. I don't think we landed on the perfect solution yet, but we will get there hopefully at some stage. But where would you find room now for the international rules? Like we're chatting in November. Like this is going out in early December. You know, you're in the middle. You're back training. Do you know what I mean? Now it's back winter training. It's like it's fine. Try and find room for interprovincials. Try and find room for international rules. There's barely time for Sigerson. You know, barely time for it. Like and. Like you had great times playing Sigerson.
Yeah.
Do you know, down in Tralee, I'm kind of jumping ahead here, like, but
loved it, yeah.
You know,
so there's league there's the Sigerson League quarterfinals on tonight, like, on tomorrow night, you know, so.
Would you be keeping an eye on them, or what would you have scouts?
Well, we've lads playing, lads playing. Yeah.
Jimmy, you don't rate us. You had a bad experience with UL, but
I did, yeah. Well, do you know,
amazing competition.
We played a
It is.
Division 2 league final with UL against Blanchardstown IT. That is
On the pledge.
the level that
Derek
we dropped
was playing,
it.
was he?
He was manager.
He was back with
He was manager.
Yeah.
He was
On the
going
pledge.
mad on the sideline.
come on.
But we had a load of Donegal fellas, and obviously once the National League came around, I think it was even before the National League, they just pulled in and we were left. And we actually had a great team.
Had you?
We could have won it.
You were captain, right?
Yeah. Still sour over it.
Yeah.
Never let it go.
Wasn't as good as that team though in Tralee, and
Stacked team.
yeah, I was going back through some of the games, like, and there's a brilliant RT report. It's well worth looking at it. Ger Canning presented. I think it's like a Sunday sports show, but Marty Morrissey's up in Killererin for the weekend, and kind of reporting back. But Tralee became the first kind of regional technical college to win a Sigerson. Like, it was a big deal. And you know, you'd just gone down in '96. You had Seamus Moynihan there, John Casey from Mayo. Like, they were the first round, and then Tralee would win 3 in a row. Unfortunately, you only won 2 in a row. Like, an absolute scandal.
I only got 2
You
medals.
graduated, like.
No, he got suspended.
The Sigersons, you're a little wet.
But it was back in the old days when there were suspensions for a month.
Yeah.
If you got suspended in November, you'd miss nothing. But you got suspended for a Connacht League game and you missed the bloody 99 Sigerson final.
Missed the whole competition.
Missed the weekend, like, you know, so.
Oh,
With
my
197,
God.
198 when we played Sligo in a Connacht League thing match, and I just brushed past Eamon O'Hara, and he seemed to go down very quickly.
Brush past him.
Ended up anyways, you know, and it turns out, like, you know, that so we got 2 weeks. I would have been back for the finals on a Sunday, but I got a month. So that time there was a quarter-final Friday, semi-final Saturday, final on Sunday. But of course, one of the selectors was on the CCCC, so I made sure I got a month. But my first ever offence.
That was ridiculous.
But missed the whole 99 campaign that was up in Queens, I think, on there, yeah. So, but fair to they said one of Jim McGuinness would have been our captain at the time he got us over the line.
That's right.
There's obviously the names you guys, yourself, Jim McGuinness, Seamus Moynihan. At the time, was Seamus Moynihan was the big established star?
He was that. Yeah.
Was anyone else? You guys were just younger players.
Casey would play the All-Ireland final that year, 96,
Casey played
97.
96, 97, yeah.
Right, okay.
We were only kids.
Kids,
at the time.
yeah.
They were down doing health and leisure course in Tralee. I remember Kerry won the Ireland actually in 97. We were the whole town was on the beer. We were living right in the middle of the town. We were throwing cans of Bulmers into the back of the lads on the double talk bus trying to get down the street.
She probably knew
Then
it.
you end up playing them, you know, and met them the following days for a couple of days, and great crack down there with them, in fairness. And then the Sigerson, our Van Andrews would have been the
What a character.
The Blanchard team, man.
yeah, he would have been. He was doing business in the college at the time. There wasn't much of a team there, you know. And I remember in '96 even, you know, I was playing cornerback. Long story, Val might tell you sometime.
All the best lads start cornerback.
Took
I hear you.
Probably playing cornerback because I went in watching Man United and Sunderland in the FA Cup one night instead of going to training. But it was a punishment. Walks into the pub and says, "Poop." So we had a game the next day down against Cork RCT at the time, whatever it was, and our cornerback Dennis Murphy pulled a hamstring, so Joyce cornerback.
How'd you get off?
Ended up scoring 6 points on cornerback because we got one foul.
He was the first attacking defender.
That's cornerback for the whole '96 campaign until I met David Nestor from UCD and he gave me his trimming of all trimmings down in Tralee in this quarter final. But
Okay.
anyways,
Jesus, yeah, no, I'd say he hit some crack, but
Good times.
like at that time, and I don't know what the story is here, but like you were part of a Hogan Cup winning team in Jarlath. Just to go back a little bit, and you had yourself, John Divley, Michael Donnellan, the Meehan brothers, Tomas and Declan, like the fellas that were backbone Galway's first All-Ireland in 32 years in 1998, right? But in 97, like, surely you're on the radar, but you haven't even played for Galway yet at that stage. I remember reading an interview with Seamus Moynihan, and he's like, how Joyce isn't playing, and John Casey beside him was like, shut up, we don't want him to realise this, you know? But like, what was going on back then?
I don't look at it's. I don't know. It's easy pointing fingers, but management didn't see me as a fit at the time. But again, like I probably came to fruition kind of with the Sigerson. You know, we ended up having Sigerson matches, and we never played UCD and Queens in UCD both games. It was windy days. I was kicking the frees, kicked them well, and you know, playing okay, like, you know. And then got called into a few trials with Galway, but sure, I was in Tralee.
And who called you?
Val would call me, like, you know, in fairness, like, yeah. So I don't know, was it
Valday was player man,
Telegraph?
player man.
How the
Yeah,
message
yeah.
came, like, but. You know, I was in Tralee during the week, like, and I couldn't train Tuesday, Thursdays, because, as you say, that time, no motorways. I had to get a bus, Kennedy coach's bus up. It was a 4-hour journey. So I wasn't going to make training. Ended up here one day playing a league match against Killererin, Martin Gary Fahy. asked me afterwards, can I come in? And I said, look, I have exams. Like, well, he said, I have my exam and my own exam. I said, I get my own in a couple of weeks' time. If that comes right, we'll get you in, you know.
Okay.
It just didn't, you know, it was no one's fault. It just didn't suit that I was in Galway to train the Tuesday, Thursday with the lads. So that's what happened.
And when 98 comes around, so Johnno was appointed, Johnno Mahoney's appointed in the autumn of 97, as I mentioned. Has everything changed in 98, or how are you ready to go?
I'm still in Tralee, actually, and still trying to educate myself. But I remember land home and you get like again, early on I said, like, you know, there was a brown envelope, you know, the window, thinking there's a bill for someone, but it was just a letter saying, John, the Friday even be in the Sacre Coeur Hotel at 5 o'clock Saturday evening the next day. So Galway County Board, you know, signed Johnno Mahoney, letter out, like, so into the meeting, and it just kicked off from there. I said we're in college, but Michael Clarity was down there as well at the time, and he was driving, so we were in Tralee and we were working away, you know, say training wise, you know, with Tralee. And then, but we had to bring a report back to Johnno every week, like, about what gym we were doing, how we were training, where we were training. So there was some of it was filled out with the virus some nights, some wasn't. And Michael Donlan came down in for a year in '98 as well. Okay. Pat Comer then was doing some film thing, and like to get messages down, like this sounds really backward, like, but you'd walk by the Students' Union, you have a big huge sign on the Students' Union wall, Padraic Joyce and Michael Clarity, contact 0907 Johnno's number, like,
it was on the wall.
On the wall, like, you know, he's ring the Students' Union, that's the only way making contact. So I'd pass Clarity, you ring him, no, you ring him, no, you're not going to ring him, no. So I think anyways, and it was I don't forget, it was a Thursday night, like, and Thursday night was the night in Tralee to head out, you know.
Yeah.
You go to get Spirals, you get whatever, Horns, wherever you were going to go to. And but it was Michael Donlan's birthday. So we were going early now. We were going early. We weren't hanging around for training. Next thing, Clarity rings around 4 o'clock and he says, you know, Pat Comer's on the way down. He'll be down around 7. Where are you training? So we're like, we're training in Cairns O'Reilly's, yeah. Well, he's rang the Bomber Liston and he's going to help you train. He'll do the training for you. He has the stuff, like. I thought Bomber.
A few long runs.
So down we go on. I had to go to Rally's, delayed the party, but anyways, and down we go to Rally's. Pat Comer lands in at 8 o'clock, not 7.
And is Comer video in the session?
We did a bit of it, yeah. He did a bit of it, yeah. But Bomber, like, we had to do X amount of runs, but Bomber made sure that we did every single one of them, and so did Pat Comer.
They came out witches after.
And it was 11 o'clock, come off the pitch, like, knackered, you know, so the party was well due down, was well diluted. But that's the kind of stuff you think you see. And then Pat Comer goes back up, geez, these boys are training like dogs down in Tralee, you know, they're training really well.
There you go. But like, it's kind of like the perfect marriage. And I'll be honest, I can quote A Year Till Sunday nearly line for line. Like, but like you were talking about it too, Paddy. Like Paddy's 10 in '98. Like you fell in love with football around that time, didn't you?
Yeah, well, same as any kind of kid at that age. Kind of 8 to 12. That's when you start really kind of picking up. I was actually more of a soccer person. My mum and dad weren't GAA people, and I would have played a lot of soccer. And then you kind of start watching the Sunday game and stuff like that. And then say you're 10, you start really getting it. You fall in love and start playing in your club in Bridget's, and then you guys win the All Ireland in '98. That period, it was kind of you guys, Kerry and Mead were the star teams, and yourself and Michael Donlan, and then Giles and Garrity and Morris Fitz. It's just an incredible time for any young people around that age. You'll remember it. I'm a bit older than you two lads, like, but it's just a special time when you see these superstar players, and then you guys just kind of came out of nowhere. Like I say, Mayo were in the final in '97, didn't get over the line.
You beat them in '98.
That Galway team would go win '98, win an 0-1 again. And the surprising thing for me, jumping ahead, like, was that you kind of played for another decade after.
Yeah, nothing, yeah.
And you know, I was at the 21 finals in 02 and 05. It was Galway hammered Dublin in 2002. Joe Bergen, Kieran Fitzgerald, Michael Meehan was nearly the original David Clifford, and bad run with injuries and stuff. You win the All Ireland in 05 again with the two lads with the hat tricks. And I was thinking, this Galway team, with yourself and the Meehans already in there, is set to be the dominant team of the Naughties. And it's just that period after winning in 01, it just doesn't happen. Even in Connacht, what was the? I don't know if I'm jumping ahead there. You're I was always intrigued with that.
I often thought about it.
Yeah,
I don't know, because I remember, like, I remember home on the bus in '98, and Thomas Mannion sitting behind me, and we were in Montbello, we were on the beer and whatever. I remember myself and McDonough were together, were saying, this is our 7th championship match, and we've won 6 and drawn 1. We've an Ireland in the middle, and Mannion was saying, "Jeez, you know how lucky you are. He's played 39 and you know, won 5 or 6 or 7, whatever he'd won, you know." Bet all the time, you know, but we were thinking, Jesus, we'll win 2 more now, or 3, and we'll retire at 25, you know, this message. usual fucking big-headed stuff. Yeah. But yeah, we went on then, like, we lost the final in 2000, but like, in '99 in the kind of final with Mayo and Shoemaker, you know, hotly fancy team, Galway was going really well, and Mayo beat us, you know, Pat Fallon kicks a couple of scores, Kieran Mackins off the bench, John Mahon's over them, Kenny Mark playing at 11, you know, Ben a wet day beat us 2 points, you know, next thing it's all over, season over. Yeah. In 2000 as well, get to replay against Kerry. Should have won the first day. Yeah. Didn't win it. Replay, got beaten the replay. And then 0-1, sure, and again, we won 0-1 in fairness. But again, a setback with losing to Roscommon, like, you know, and if that was the old system, we were gone. You know, there was no other, like.
Remember the game at the rain,
and then you won Ireland with a bunch of players, you know, so we probably underachieved a little bit. Yeah. The group we had, you know.
So 98 to 01, 4 seasons, 2 All-Irelands, and you lose an All-Ireland final replay. As Paddy mentioned, you played for another decade, 2002 to 2012, and the thing that I couldn't get my head around, now you pick up a couple of Connacht titles, maybe 2 or 3 along the way, but between 02 and 12, Galway win 1 game outside of Connacht, and it's a qualifier match against Louth.
In Parnell Park.
In Parnell Park. That was the only game.
Yeah, and we don't play in Croke Park until we played a league semi-final against, our final against Kerry a couple of times in 04. But we didn't play a championship match in Croke Park until Kerry 08, quarter-final from 01.
In the rain.
7 in the rain,
were you aware of it when you were in the middle of it and you've committed your whole life?
Sure, of course you are, because you go back into seasons every year, you know, and players are to start the year, we're going to win this, that, like, and I remember one fella one day says, I don't think he says the players that have won it have the same motivation. And so I remember I nearly going through for a shortcut thinking, I have, like, it's just couldn't put a finger on it at the time. I don't know what it was. It was funny. Yeah. Yeah.
Was it a bit of, when you take over Galway, one of the first things you come in and say is we're here to win the All-Ireland. Yeah. And that was kind of, Galway at the time were probably not in that camp. Mayo had been the dominant team, and people were going, geez, Joyce is a bit. That's a bit spicy.
Yeah, I get that, John.
But that mentality, it was, you needed to say that for that group to kind of feel it. Was there a bit of that maybe missing in that period in the noughties where you'd done it? Kieran Fitzgerald, Joe Bergen, these guys were still there, had Decky Bean, had won All-Irelands. Younger guys didn't believe, or?
I don't know what it was, Paddy, because like, we've had these conversations ourselves, a few pints, you know, and we're kind of wondering, you know, what was it? And we had everything in place for us, but it just didn't seem to happen. We lost a lot of games in that period by a pint, and won by a pint, lost by a pint, you know, this kind of stuff. And, you know, even 12, I retired, like, you know, Antrim was my last game up in Caseman Park, like, you know, we lost to Westmeath by a pint, would have been playing Dublin in, I think it was 07 or 09, one of the years as well, in a quarter-final. Just bad defeats, you know, the games are expected to win. And it's down to the players. We just didn't show up, didn't perform for some reason. And what the reason was, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Was the belief there? Of course there was, because we'd won at 21. Like, we had 2 of the best forwards in Ireland at the time, Sean Armstrong and Mike Meehan. And then they were putting them in with Padraic Joyce at the full forward line. But I don't think we played 3 games together. Really? Injuries and different things from all of us.
I remember playing in 2009.
Where were you playing?
It was full back. We played Galway in a league game. It was Pat's second game. Yeah. I was full back on Michael Meehan. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my God.
What was that like?
I absolutely roasted him. Didn't get kicked the poor fella.
Did you?
I think he scored a fucking hat-trick. He was at 11.
I remember the game, Bernard Brogan kept you in the game all day. I remember it.
We lost by 8 points.
7 points, yeah.
And the lads got a standing ovation at half-time, and I was coming off full back, and Michael Meehan, I honestly think he scored a hat-trick in the first half. I was like, fuck this. Scoring his full backline stuff is not for me. But
what was Padraic like back then in 09?
Absolutely lorded at number 11.
Yeah.
Do you like 11?
At times, yeah, because, you know, you see, when you're inside the 14 and no ball coming in, you get so frustrated, like, you drift out and say, kick it in.
Or you're in South Hill and there's a gale force wind, you're standing the full foreground. Amazing.
And again, like
you probably want to play
the
14 with you at 11.
Yeah, that's a great change. Yeah. But the joy of playing in 14, you see, for so long, and this is even now with players, if I know fellas to play them somewhere different to see what's the picture when you look at it, like, you know, it's like, and I knew the picture what a 14 would like from 11, you know, and I kick the ball a lot, like, you know, the ball travels, like the ball to move a lot when I played, so yeah, I enjoyed it. Look, it's obviously you get older, you start pulling the socks up and you get a bit slower, you just hang around, but
a few loops still happen.
But that final in 2000 against Kerry, that was actually my first All-Ireland final I went to. I still have the green and gold hat at home. Right. I was at the drawing game. But what was it like then? You were marking Seamus obviously in those games, weren't you?
Yeah. Well, see, this again. The myth is like he's full back, I'm full forward, you know, like we moved around. We opened the pitch that time down in Kilmiley one time, and Seamus is full back his first day. I get man the match off him. Worst thing ever happened, I'd say. Because then we're up in Croke Park, you know, and I'm in the drawing game. But again, that time the 2 captains had to meet and do a breakfast and stuff beforehand. And
what?
Yeah.
Before what game?
Before the final, like, you know.
Galway?
Yeah, so we end up doing this thing down in Mallow.
There was an interview, wasn't there?
Yeah,
the captain's table. Yeah,
we didn't speak all the two of us, like, you know, the cup was there, and none of us would touch it because, you know, you don't want to be seen hold it in case you want to hold it if you win it. Like, The photographers, everyone was just completely pissed off with us. Like, we just did our photographs, did our breakfast, and got out of the place, you know, because we could. But in the final, like you see, I didn't really mark Seamus. I marked him. I was on him for the first 15, 20 minutes, but then we were so far behind. We went 8-1 down after Johnny Crowley was inside, shooting the lights out of Mike Frank. So I had to go to 11. Paul Clancy goes in full forward. He's a bit better. Ball goes in, you know, and we end up I probably didn't mark Seamus. I'd say maybe 15 minutes in the whole game, you know. But again, look, disappointed to lose it, but I'd be really close to Seamus. Like, even to this day, I'd be really good friends with him. So, you know, but heartbreaking not to win it. But you see your best friend pick up the Sam Maguire. It's harder, but it's, you know, you'll be happy for him. You know what I mean?
Who was if you had to pick one or two from that time, marking ways, who would be the ultimate marker?
Well, I actually have the answer, because in 1997 he did a Hogan Stan magazine player profile, and Padraic Joyce was asked. Padraic Joyce was asked. I've got them top of my head now.
Interested in this. He's on about 2000 now, 97.
So it's mature. Like, you can change. He's allowed to change his answer. He's allowed to change it. Your favourite players at the time were Peter Canavan and Gregory McCartan.
Yeah.
Two great shouts.
Gregory, yeah.
Toughest opponents.
I know what I said.
Go on.
I said I've yet to meet him.
Yeah. I love that.
That's very James.
I was 20 years of age now. Come on.
But that's class, though. Yeah.
If one of his young Galway lads said that.
I think you give Pat Coyne from Mayo a shout then. I think in the second part of the answer or something, you give maybe.
What?
You give somebody from Mayo a shout then. Was it Pat Coyne at the time?
Pat Coyne was good, yeah. He was
you give someone like that a shout.
Serious player.
Somebody must have edited it in afterwards.
Maybe, yeah.
Come with.
But
Would you change that now?
Like when you played, like, you know, I marked Sean Martin Lockhart, brilliant player. Probably one of the toughest guys I marked was probably Conor Gormley from Tyrone.
Wow.
Serious.
Yes.
He had everything. He was mouthing, he was dogging, he could play football though. Really good player.
He was like the Terminator going around. Like.
Yeah, really brilliant and an excellent just extinguisher. Then you look at, you marked the Francie Bellews in the time, you know, tough boys. Like, you know, McGeaney was a very good player as well, like, you know. Seamus, obviously.
Was McGeaney tight?
He was tight, yeah. Tight, but he would always want to play the ball as well, but he'd be gone fitness-wise. He'd always try and outrun you. But brilliant players. It
was a lot more man for man at the time as well.
It was, yeah.
There was no real protection there for anyone.
No hanging around, no.
We played a charity game there this spring up in Alma for Palestine. It was like Dublin Tyrone. So it was like a very casual affair. Like, lads turned up with no boots and everything. So we arrive up, sheets of rain, much like today, and you're going into Healy Park, and it's like, no, it's a charity game. Like, you arrive in, Tyrone have like the fucking Rolls Royce team out.
Muggsy.
The whole lot. Peter Cadver was managing them. And I'm going out with like a jacket on underneath my jersey. This would be grand. I jog into full forward. Fucking Conor Gormley's full back.
But I think he's still playing though. With Forties, I think he's still playing.
Shakes the hand and then shoulder straight into the chest. And I was like, God, this is a fucking charity. And there was no messing. Like, and I was like, I'm in the wrong place here, lads. Does anyone want to swap? I was trying to go set the forward there. Like. But no, he was only messing. But one of the kid, like that team, that Tyrone team. You're saying Galway were a bit short in the mid-90s. That Tyrone team came along with Mickey Hart, and what a team! What a player he was. Like, but
unbelievable.
He comes up a lot in toughest markers. Yeah,
he was tough.
So we kind of jumped around a bit here, but like 98 with Johnno and 01. Is it a bit of a whirlwind for you? Do you take in your stride? Because as I mentioned, you know, you win a Hogan Cup in 94 in schools level, you know, in 97 and 98 you win Sigerson's in Tralee, 99 Killererin, you know, you win your first county title, 98 you get your first All-Ireland in your first season, you're top scorer in the All-Ireland final. It was all happening.
Yeah.
So are you taking this all in your stride? Is this the way football is like?
You think you are, you know, but look at my father would pull you back into line very quickly, you know. The club lads would, but again, look, it was just part of the process, you know. Like, obviously we were, you know, first of all you get a letter to call it the Gala panel. It's like, what do you want me for? You know, Jesus, I'm not good enough for that. You know, you doubt yourself, like, you know. Then you go in and you start playing. You say, Jesus, I might be good enough. And I was playing that time. I was playing as a wing forward for all my underage career. Mary I was number 10, and Johnno put me in. He transitioned me from a 10 to a 14. And I was like, sure, I'm at a 14. I can't score. Yeah. And he said, but he said, you will in time. You can practice, you know, and all this stuff. And my first game in there was against Leitrim, marking Seamus Quinn, and he basically wanted me to just take him out of full back, you know, go left. Yeah. I was happy to get him out of full back. And he was some player at the time.
A monster, yeah.
Yeah, and ended up kicking 3 or 4 pints. It just didn't become just staying around there. And I kind of learned how to play there. Then I'm taking the frees. And as you say, you build confidence, you get stronger, you know what you have to do. So. End up standing the whole time, you know. So,
like, how does it marry like Padraic Joyce the player with Padraic Joyce the manager? Because I can picture you going through and goal in the All-Ireland final in '98 and selling that little dummy and putting it into the back of the net. And then I can hear you in a post-match interview talking about one of your players who's scored a goal, but he should have scored a second one. He should have gone around the keeper. Do you know what I mean? Like, and
that's...
like it's happening, and you can see this with ex-players sometimes as well. It came really naturally to them as footballers. Now maybe it didn't. Maybe you had to work on that really hard. But how were you able to become Padraic Joyce the manager? How have you developed that? Because you worked with some great managers over the years as well, you know.
I don't have it, but should be laughing. But yeah, look, I worked with some great managers. You know, I got some great nuggets off them all. Try and bring out the values too, like, you know. But again, my mistake I made when I started out was thinking, oh sure, if I can do it, other players can do it, you know. And it probably doesn't fall that way as naturally. And I find maybe players as well are a bit probably, I wouldn't say standoffish with me as a manager, because they don't want to look weak in front of me by saying, "Geez, I can't do that," or, you know. And it's my job to coach them or make them better. You know, don't get me wrong. Pointing case last year, and I took the two lads off again Dublin. All they missed, you know what I mean. So we can't keep missing. I said to myself, surely to God, two more lads would miss as much. But
it strikes me that they took that well. Like what
we spoke about it. Yeah, we've had I have to say about our lads. You know, I'd be honest. I said them straight there. You know, I'm not saying anything that's not hadn't been said to the boys. You know what I mean. So you try and get over that a little bit, but you try and put composure in a fella. But it's easy to do it in training. But you're in the heat of the battle there, and you're coming through the goals. A fella tearing down, a fella for left. You see the goal, like. What are you going to do? Like, you know, the Cliffords and this guy had it, you know, that little dummy hop, little hand hop that just to compose yourself to shoot. Gooch had it. Gooch was excellent at it all the time. He's just placed his shots all the time. You know, I'd never seen Gooch having a power finish shot. Like, it was all they did. Side foot, you know. Side foot. Where he was going, and like, can you coach that? You try, but it's very hard.
I saw you in Croke Park as manager, kicking outside the left, outside the right, 45 yards. Like, as
he didn't even get dirt on the white shoes when he was doing it as well.
But if
runners,
the manager runners in those dogs, the players must be thinking, I need to do a bit more work here.
Would you say if you've done 6 years with Galway?
I'm starting my 7th. Yeah.
Have you changed much from?
Oh, I've changed a lot, Paddy. Yeah. Changed a lot. I came in the start here, and I was like,
is it surprising how much you felt you would have to change, or you've developed, or? Because that's a long stint in current managerial way.
It is, and like, you know, players get fed up with the same voice after a couple of years. I know that. But when I first came in, go back to my first initial thing, like I just said to myself, we're going to win the Ireland here.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't say that, people say, oh, what's he going to do? Like, what? I couldn't say we're going to win Connacht and we're going to tip along and try and take me off the perch. Mayo were miles ahead of us at the time, like miles ahead. And we came in then the first year, 2020, we started playing this. I just went for football, expansive football. You know, top of the league. COVID hits us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before COVID came in, then we're playing Mayo that Sunday, and we had a chance to probably relegate Mayo and put ourselves in the league final. Yeah. COVID comes in, then we play Mayo back in October. They absolutely walked through us then in Tuam Stadium, about 15, 16 points, bars, and they hammered us like. So I'm thinking like power pace here, you know. You can say who trained where, who trained what during COVID. That's up to the own counties. But we didn't get to a Connacht final in 2020, and we lose the game by 1 point. You know, in a no-one in Pearse Stadium at the time.
Yeah.
You have Mayo come out, you have Tipperary, Cavan, Dublin end up winning. You know, one of those years where the fine lines back over the years. It's just was it fate? I don't know. But it's fine lines in it. Like, you know, we had a sideline kick that was given. Sean Hurston referee gave us free out again. You know, another dubious one against us. No offence to Sean, no. But you know, then we go in 2021 to Croke Park, and we agreed to play the Connacht final in Croke Park in 2021.
Yeah.
And we're 6 points up at half time, going okay. I would
Shane gets injured.
I would say going okay. You know,
is that thing?
Yeah, whatever it happens out with things. We lose Rob with an ankle injury, stuff like that. Mayo outscores. They win the game by 7. So in the space of 35 minutes, they outscores by 13 points, and that to me was a huge change for me. You know, we came back in, rattled up the backroom team. I got a lot of abuse that time, which rightly so.
You?
I did, yeah, rightly so, yeah. You know, we were well beaten. You know, came back in, had one of probably the best player meetings with the players. I got the players into a room about August time, about a month later, and I sat down myself and Johnno Cannon, the two of us, kept knowing us in the room, the players. I said, right lads, how do we fix this? Where do we go? Sure, obviously some of them wanted a new manager, some want this, so took all the feedback on board, got avidly, but feedback properly from the players, because the players are in the arena, like, they know what's needed, what's not needed, you know. Yeah. So I came back with a raft of changes, what's needed. Yeah, my pride was hurt, my ego was hurt, as you'd be thinking, Jesus, what I've been coaching this 2 years is wrong. Like, I haven't helped the players here. And then come in 2022, go and get a head coach in Cian O'Neill, come in, change up the backroom team a little bit, get a bit of structure in place, got to get big defence in place here. end up losing to Kerry in the final. Probably should have won it, bar that, the momentum swing. I'm not saying that free again has cost us the final, but it's
a great final. Yeah,
it was huge.
It definitely changed the momentum of the game. Like had we got out of that corner where we were in there with the ball that time, and got a score to the test of Kerry's mettle to see could they come back, but anyways, transpired we didn't win the game. But
that's an incredible power play there. To bring the boys into the room and say, right, what do we all need to do?
Yeah,
like that, because you're putting yourself almost in a position a little bit of.
You're in the fire.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean
But again, James,
the room must have been.
But the room was hot and heavy. But again, the only reason I'm involved with Galway football is for the betterment of Galway football. And if there's someone out there better to take over the manager job next year or 2 years' time, let them come and take it. But this year there was no big queue this year to take the job, even though I was 50-50 where I got back or not. And
I remember listening to you in August. We were at the Johnno Mahoney tribute night in Ballahadreen, and you probably still hadn't made your mind up yet.
No, I hadn't. No.
But you had made that point that this is not for Port, it's for Galway.
No, it is for Galway. And I played for Galway for years, and it's just it's not. Have I time for this job? I'm making time for it. Do you know what I mean? I could be at other stuff, but I'm making time because I love Galway, just the way it is. But until the players inside, realise what's needed, how do we get there? We all have to change. I don't have all the answers. I have to change my ways and the way I coach, the way I speak to players, the way I communicate with players, try and get them better. You're trying to understand the whole players. What they're working at, what their day-to-day life is. Because no matter what, there's some trouble in everyone's house, no matter what's going on. So when they come to training, is it a happy environment that they feel comfortable, they can train, they can, express themselves?
Is that what you feel you've developed most from initially going in to that kind of?
I'd say the biggest thing, Paddy, is I probably mellowed a lot. Believe it or not. So I'll tell you how bad I was a couple of years. Be very straight and hot and heavy at the lads and shout the road at half time, and we've changed that to a degree, anyways. But I think sometimes I have to look at whatever's on the table, and even my right is your wrong or your wrong is my right. I'm not always right. There's two sides to every story, sometimes three sides to every story. So I think you got to just get the best solution with the players, with the management team, the backroom team, what's best for Galway, and just row the boat on. That's all I try and do. Have I changed? I definitely changed. Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
I think you have to, though. That flexibility of. You have to look at any of the teams. Look, there's McGeeney's with Armagh over 10 years now. They finally got over the line with that. We had it in our own team. Yeah. You learn along the way, there's bumps and bruises, and you have to develop it.
And then you have to be mindful as well. You don't change too much because you don't want to be seen as coming too soft either. There's definitely.
But conversation.
Any decision I make, whether it's letting release the lads or bringing lads in, for me, it's my opinion. It's for the betterment of Galway football.
But the conversations like that, like you say, you get the main people in the dressing room after defeat, usually. After a celebration or after a victory or celebrating, but the players and the coaches and everyone involved, you're gonna get some feedback, and you have to take it on board.
And you take it on board
for everyone.
Yeah, and feedback, there's 40 in a room, so feedback from one person mightn't matter, but the same feedback from 3 or 4 is
consensus.
True, and it matters. You know what I mean? But I would have always done an external review of our situation in Galway the last couple of years. Always did. And
what do you mean by that?
I'd get an outside person to come in, a very respected person in Galway to come in and just chat to a group of players, chat to me, chat to backroom, and just
individually everywhere, and then
collect it together and say, look. Because obviously they won't say everything while I'm in the room, but we just find out, look, this is where we've got to, this is where we need to go to, so it's needed, I know, and then you'll have the hurler in the ditch saying, this lad, that lad. But that's relevant to me, because they're not in the bubble of, they don't see the sacrifices. I know I can talk to the Galway players, but I know every player in the country is the same. Everybody wants to win that island. There's teams out there training to win that, and they're all training as hard as each other. So while they are training with us, we want to make sure that we're doing the right thing, and we're rowing the boat down the stream. Yeah, have we come a long way from where we were? Yeah, we've come a long way, but we haven't got to where I want us to get to.
Can I ask one question, right? The All-Ireland final with Armagh. Everyone kind of, if you remember the build up to that game, you guys had lost the final to Kerry. You ticked nearly every box on that journey a team goes on, from where you're taking over, where you're not the dominant team even in your province, to kind of take over that, get to an All-Ireland final, go very close to winning it against Kerry. Tough year the following year, but you're back again. You feel like you've hit every marker on the journey, and that final wasn't a great spectacle, but I would have had you guys red hot favourites to win that. What was the aftermath of that? It felt like it wasn't your best performance, wasn't a great game, but
Jesus, there's a block. Joe McElroy gets a paw and Paul Conroy shot it.
There's more than that.
There's more than that.
More than that in it.
What was
a brilliant block at the time, but there's more than that in it.
In what sense?
Was that was a difficult one?
It was difficult, but at the same time, our man ourselves, we went on a similar journey over the last previous years, you know. And like, look, I'd be really close to Kieran and chat a lot to him, you know. And we would have chatted a lot actually throughout that year, you know, believe it or not. And like, we go back to our quarter final in 2022, you know, like that goes to penalties, kicking the game, one of the best games ever played.
Unbelievable.
Those ugly scenes at the end, but you know, you fight your corner, we move on, you know, and we've met them a point, 2 points every time since. And then we get to, like, I remember we played them down in Sligo, and I was at home that night, and it was whatever, having a glass of wine, so maybe he was texting back and over, and I said, look, we are where we are now because I drawed on them to get them straight through, and we had a qualifier to play, and I said, one of us have to take out Kerry, one have to take out Dublin, and I'll see you in the final. So like, he was, sounds well. So as time goes on, that's what happens. But again,
he brought up that text.
We had a brilliant semi-final win against Donegal that year, you know, and then they had a massive win against Kerry, you know, so like, it was a novelty pairing, probably the two of us in the final, but yeah, we want to win it from our side, you know. And you're asking the question, what was the aftermath of it? Like, you know, we're obviously distraught. Like, I didn't leave the house for.
Yeah, you could see
I'd say 6 weeks. I went to Spain for a month. I didn't walk the legs myself. No good to anyone, you know. Just took it really hard, as you would, like. But you know, I remember when the game was over, I went into the Armagh dressing room and I just wished them to enjoy this occasion because they've come in the similar jerseys. They're all sitting around, they're wrecked around the room, having their bottles of beer or whatever. You know, just out of courtesy and out of respect from Galway to Armagh, you know, there's a huge respect there between us. They're probably, for me, would have been a similar type story to ourselves, you know, coming out of nowhere and getting there, you know, knock back, and seeing Kieran knock back, and they won it. But for us, when we dig into the performance, like, we didn't have the performance. You know, we lose Rob. Excuse me. We scored two free kicks out of 7. You know, we had 26 shots on goal. We scored 13. We've 13 wides or drop shots. You know, so it wasn't our best performance. No, definitely not. But we still had enough in the tank to could have won the game. You know, and I'll come back then thinking, well, should we have changed this lad? Should you change that? That's what you go into at this stage. You know, should he be on? Should he be off? And the wider public say, well, but we did what we did, and we lost the game by a point. We fell short, and it was tough to take. Yeah.
Do you take it tougher as a manager than as a player?
Oh yeah. Look at players. When I played as well, like, players worry about themselves.
Yeah.
But when
selfish.
well, I wouldn't say selfish, like, but then they're right. Like, you know, like, the player wants his player. Like, you know, he might care about a few more, but when you're managing, like, the level of care you have to have.
Responsibility is.
It's your show. Like, you know what I mean. It'll fall back on it's like, you're the leader. You know, the team plays reflect how you lead, what you do. You know, so, you know, for me, I was just distraught for myself, but I was distraught for the fans. I was distraught for, like, we had an unbelievable following that year. Like, we stayed in the K Club at the semi-final, and it took us like nearly an hour to get in with traffic, and we had 3 escorts. So the fans after the Donegal game, fans after the finals, you know, we developed a huge following in Football and Galway, which is great. Our league games now are, you know, tickets sold, and it's great. Like, but I felt sorry for the fans who, you know, put their money into this, you know, buying jerseys. There was 19 or 20,000 jerseys sold the week of the final of Galway, you know, and like, there's a commercial side to all this as well, getting to finals and player development and all that stuff. But you know, you worry about the players when it's over. Like, some take it really bad, and I know they're hurting. Don't get me wrong, and they're still hurting. So we are. So the only way we'll right that is by going win it.
Only one way.
There's only one way. Like,
if you look at those 2 finals, say the first one against Kerry and then Armagh, they're 2 chalk and cheese in terms of matches. Like, you've the point off nearly between Clifford and Walsh, then you're obviously the tight and tentative Armagh game. Like, as a manager, you have to be so aware tactically of everyone's different route. But say going forward with the new rules, do you reckon you're better equipped now, or versus maybe kind of trying to be a chameleon under the old rules?
No, I think we're better now, you know, and even go back to the 22 final with the shoot off of the boys, you know, like, I genuinely said to the boys, I said, look, lads, David Clifford is the best footballer in the country at the time, and like, he's going to get 5 or 6 points, but unfortunately he got 8 or 9, whoever he got. You know, you have to allow for good players to play, like, and you can say you can put 1 on them or 2 on them or 3, but then you're wasting a guy. And in a final, you can't leave a guy free, because all nowadays footballers are going to come forward, create the overlap, you know. Yeah. So the game has changed now. You know, the game now is becoming a set piece game, really, kickouts and, you know, all that stuff. You have to win, break and ball, get forward. Are we set up for both? I thought we were doing well this year, but I think I ran out a bit of steam. Kind of 3 weeks in a row killed us. We had long journeys. Again, it's not excuses, but we were in Derry. We had hard game up away in Derry. Came back, had to go away then to Cavan to play Armagh, up in between. Then we were away to Newry, then up to Croke Park for me. So just felt, had we go over that Meath game, had a break for 2 weeks, we could have been a different animal at Galway. But we struggled as well with a couple of knocks to a couple of key guys, bit of form. But look, it's up to us. I think the old game of 6-2-6 is gone. It's now a game of transition 3-8-3.
3-8-3, yeah.
Get your bodies right and get your shoes on the pitch.
I think from the outside looking in, we would talk about this on the show quite a bit. On paper, you know, we just said Donegal with Declan Bonner were brilliant on paper. Look at you guys with the players you have around the middle third in particular. phenomenal names.
Yeah.
Did you feel at any... Everyone was waiting for Galway to put on this standout performance this season. And you didn't really get that at any...
No, we didn't get it.
The schedule was tough.
Kerry didn't get it till the second half of the Armagh. Do you know? And then
they got it. Kerry got it 3 times in a row after that.
Yeah.
We got a bit of it against Armagh in the second half. In fact.
Yeah.
Joe, and then
you put the big squeeze on you.
Then we up. Then Down were probably
hard teams
up there. You know what I mean? We were really energetic. You know, got over that, struggled over that. You know, when our first half performance against Meath, like just it baffled us as players and coaches.
Yeah. Strange. It was a strange game.
We were watching.
We don't train that way, backing over the half forward line, kicking the ball on the sideline. Just it's not us. Like we had no energy. Yeah. We were lacking something, and just we've addressed that and tried to figure it out going forward. But we just didn't perform. We didn't get our performance. You know, and again, we've no one to blame on ourselves, and that's the bottom line.
Again, though, it is such fine lines, and I think I maybe got lost in the delirium of that game. I was
watching it with him. Unfortunately,
I wasn't really working that day, and I legged it up.
It's how you meant to be like reporting on this match.
No, I wasn't.
You had the Meath headband on.
I wasn't working that day, but like it is such fine lines, and when Meath go 3 points up, you have these like
2 goals.
Finnerty's hand pass for the goal, like cutting out 3 players, a 20-yard hand pass, and it's just like unbelievable. Matty Thompson's involved in a move then for the next goal. And it's like, okay, like 2 goals in 2 minutes, and then and it goes down to a point. Like,
yeah, but you're asking the question, and I've been asked this question.
Fine lines.
You know, like why didn't you play like that all the game? Do you know? Like,
and you're asking that question.
Well, I've been asked that question.
To.
I've been asked that question. Fortunately, I'm asking that question as well. Like, you know, the players are asking that question. Why didn't we? Like, what stopped us? Like, that's what we got to figure out. Like,
yeah,
the talent is without doubt there. I think that's whatever. But us, we're neutrals. We're not really neutrals either. But for you guys, it's.
Yeah,
sky's the limit.
You know, I don't know, do you agree with this or not, but over the last couple of years, the game went down such a route of kind of hand passing and caution.
Mind the ball.
I think, and mind the ball being shouted everywhere. I think it's going to take a couple of years.
It's playing with fear, James, you see. And fellas are afraid to get the ball away because then you come in afterwards and he's 3 turnovers again. You know, it doesn't really matter. Like, I've no problem with a fella giving the ball away once he's trying to do the right thing with it.
Yeah.
You know, there's no issue with that.
Yeah, because fellas are actually so talented, but they see a pass and they actually don't want to give it because in the old rules it was never on in case you were turned over, whereas now there's so many of those balls on.
There is,
It's just a bit of bravery, but it take a couple of years maybe I think to get.
Yeah, but again, that's a challenge for us as managers and coaches to coach that back into the players, you know, to make them feel that they can go and do the stuff, like, you know what I mean? That's what they have to do. Like.
You're listening to the Football Club with Padraic Joyce in Killererin. Padraic, you've been brilliant with your time. There's a couple of quick ones that we want to just rattle through, and you can take them or leave them as we're throwing them at you. I mentioned to you before about, I know you're looking at the watch, I mentioned to you before about the Hogan Stand magazine entry back in '97. I'm just giving you an option if you wanted to change any of these.
No, keep going, Tom, keep going.
But like, favourite players.
Nothing to hide, go on.
Like, favourite players, right? You mentioned Peter Canavan and Gregory McCartan. Like, I know you're somebody who like loves football. Like, you love watching football, you love playing it, you still kick the ball whenever you can, you love being involved in it. You know, you're playing these great teams, like even the bloody Sigerson winning teams in Tralee. Like, you've got man of the match in 3 All-Ireland finals, I think, in a row, and Mark O'Reilly, yourself, and Seamus Moynihan. There's 3 out of 4 footballers a year, and yourself, Donlan, and Seamus Moynihan as well. Like, you've played with loads of great players, international rules, you've gone through all that. Is there anyone else you'd add into that? Favourite players or fellas you enjoyed playing with?
Probably Maurice Fitz. I left Maurice Fitz out.
Okay.
One of my... Watch his grace and his balance, like, just unbelievable. Lovely, and I know him well enough as well. He's a gentleman, you know, brilliant footballer. Yeah. Oh,
unbelievable. A toughest opponent, you mentioned Conor Gormley. You brought him back into the field.
Yeah, well, back in my time, I know he was one of them too. But there's a good few like this. You could be naming a lot of fellas, but Conor sticks out, like, because a couple of battles with him now.
Can you tell us about the 04 final? You're injured that year. Killererin are going up against Saltown Knocknacara. I think Tommy Ryder is named at number 15. You go undergo groin surgery 2 weeks before the final.
It wasn't really groin surgery, it was a bit lower than that. Tommy, yeah, because I was up doing, we were Australian rules training on the Friday night, you know, we were doing wheelbarrow. You know the wheelbarrow training? Guy holds your legs and you're fucking crawling. Like, anyways, I stumble and Graham Canty stands somewhere he shouldn't have stood and knocks me out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Anyways, so I got into the hospital and can't train, come back down the road, fucking. It's like a football in your pants. You're going, shit, send it to the doctor.
There's trouble.
Get it drained, do whatever you have to do. And couldn't play. Like, I was told, I came out of hospital the Friday, the previous, I think, Sunday night, where the game was the following Sunday. So I was told, like, no, absolutely zero, don't exercise, don't do anything. So
That's county final against Salt Hill.
Yeah, county final the following Sunday. Should have to try, like, you know. So Billy was over the team, like, and Billy be always in smoking the fag at the time. He says, "You're playing." He says, "What's your room with?" You're playing. So the boys were training here on the Tuesday night or Thursday night, whatever it was, and then I didn't train with them, but I went home. The Billy came up and says, "Get your bag back down here again. Lights on." He ran me for half an hour or 40 minutes.
11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, and he came back again. He said, "How are you feeling?" I said, "Low in the morning." I was fine in the morning. Right, Thursday night, he says, "We'll had the train and the team meeting." Came back them out again, took me down the pitch again, taking frees, and late Thursday night and again Friday night. Yeah. So then it was all Billy Doyle all organising. You know, the whole team knew that I was going to play, like, start or whatever, but didn't know it, obviously. Salt Hill know. So Tommy Ryder, you know, goes home, great club man, tells his parents, "I'm starting the county final," you know, blah blah blah. So Tommy Ryder does a parade, just for the national anthem. I go out, he comes in, and I get through the game all right. You know, we get through just about, but you're playing with kind of protective stuff. And yeah, but
Uncomfortable.
Then you have a nice Salt Hill corner back trying to kick you and pinch you all day long, you know. So it's,
is that South Hill going to win the All Ireland?
No. Killererin win it. They beat them.
We end up, we won the county final in 04 that time, you know, Billy over the team.
But Billy, I remember reading Billy speaking about it, and he was like, "It's totally true, Salt Hill. Like they were panicking for the first 20 minutes trying to figure out, like, because I think that was Nicky's first year, was it?
It was first year, but no, he put me in midfield for the first 10 minutes, so they couldn't.
They were panicking how to match up.
You can't man midfield, obviously, so they were trying to.
That's class.
Now that Owen Donlan, in fairness, was over Salt Hill. Like, he had a fair idea that you'd be playing, so he was trying to move the pieces. But it was a great final. We got a Nicholas, I think, was man of the match that they kicked 1, 3 or 4. So
class.
Nice one to win, yeah.
Yeah, you win 10 kind of bookends the career, and then you kind of struggled to retire for a couple of years. I think you retired maybe 4 times. You came back at 14. And
yeah, but again, like, we won it. We were kind of a bit like, I don't know, someone said we were a bit like Tyrone one time, win every 3 years, but I think we were that long celebrating, it took us a while to get back. So it's 04, 07 and 10, but beat Milltown in 7. You know, it was good one for us to win. Unfortunately, it was Milltown that we beat, because we'd be good relationship between Milltown and Killererin, to be honest. And then in 2010, we beat Corofin, that was a big one really for us, because they were the kingpins, like, and we were coming through, and they wanted to knock us back. We wanted to beat them, and Father Oliver Hughes at the time would have kind of managed most of us in St. Jarlath's. He was the parish priest in Corofin, you know, and he just passed away, unfortunately, just before the match, you know. And anyways, we win the county final 12 points to 1-7, whatever it was, you know. And we knew ourselves in Corofin that if we could hold them to 10 points, that we'd get enough to win it, and that's what the tactic was in the day. We got over it, so. Yeah. Good times before them, yeah.
We had Shane Ryan and Gavin White a few weeks ago down in Jimmy Bryant's in Killarney, and I'd asked the lads to bring in something that was important to them or special to them from their career, and they had a couple of great moments. You know, Gavin brought in a jersey from his school when in the Man. James actually went to the same school, and Shane had this brilliant moment and a photograph from when Rathmore won a Club All-Ireland Intermediate in 2023, and he had his brothers and his mum and dad and partner in his photo. So I don't know, have you managed to dig something out for us?
Yeah, I took a photo, Tommy. Yeah.
Did you? Yeah. Where did you get this from them? At the home house?
Yeah, it was given to me by a person.
Oh wow!
So it's a photograph of myself and my father and my daughter Ava. So I think it's after the 07 final.
Okay.
So it's one of those pictures that. So my father was probably my biggest supporter, you know, and
geez, you can really see the similarity there, can't you?
Thanks. Ava won't thank me enough for that. She's at this age of her life, but it was just. I remember after the match, you know, he was really influencing in me.
Really?
Yeah, just he was a teetotaler. You know, went to all the matches. We ended up leaving behind us the matches sometimes because he'd never come home. He'd be chatting about how Tommy played or how he played to someone and wouldn't come back. But he would have passed away in 15, so he's 10 years away at this stage, but he'd always been telling me, you know, always really, no matter how you played the match, it was never good enough, you know. It was like you scored 2 goals, but you missed 1, you know. He was kind of like all that stuff. But I remember after the county final, he came in, he was so proud or so happy that we'd won it, you know. And I remember he kind of got me off the pitch and he'd Ava with him and the 3 of us walked off. But just like as a photograph, just brings back, and I have a lot of memories, obviously. You can ask, is it nicer winning with the county or the club? But just I think the club for me, it's just different type feeling than obviously county and stuff, because it's a bigger side, whereas this is more kind of a family private thing for me. So that picture, I think it's up in the house, so it's great, and great memories of himself, and like himself and Billy would have been probably in our house. We had a pool table when we were young lads as well, so we'd be playing pool, the 4 of us, you know, young lads, you know. We got it for communion money, and there'd be arguing, the 2 boys would be arguing about football, who was better, who was back, you know, over games, and you just get tied up in the football conversation, you know. So
and you're like, so Billy obviously played at Galway as well in the 70s, and would your father have played?
No, Paddy didn't. See, that's the thing.
Paddy was a farmer, wasn't he?
Yeah, farmer, yeah, but he played a bit of hurling with having like Moy, and he played a bit of football and go years ago, but not really, you know.
But he loved it.
He loved it, actually. That every game, even on a Sunday there, like, he'd head to mass with the car, and sure, he'd be back at 6 o'clock, he'd find a match match somewhere to go to. He'd go to hurling matches and that and right. Just big into the sport, all that kind of stuff. And like Billy just say, unfortunately Billy played in 4 Ireland finals and didn't win any. You know, so it's a fine line, you know, along the way as well. But
It is fine line.
Billy passed away this year as well, another huge loss to our club here in Parish and stuff. So yeah, just big characters. And I don't know, we're getting older and don't realise like I'm 48 now. Like, so years ago I think that was really old, whereas now it's not. I suppose not a bad age, I suppose. But
Isn't it mad? You know, the more people we speak to, I think that every successful player actually gets a little bit of criticism of their father or mother at the right times. It's like if someone's getting too much praise all the time at home, they're never going to have the steel or something.
It's an Irish thing, isn't it? Like,
You
need a kick in the arse.
We shouldn't lose it though.
Everyone needs a kick in the arse. Like.
I remember.
I think it's key.
I know we won Ireland in 01, but I was having a stinker of a season up until probably the final. I'd say. I was doing a bit like. Wasn't
And I watched back a bit of the final. Faye wins a couple of balls early doors. You didn't get it all your own way.
No. And like I remember on the Saturday, because the bus didn't leave, whatever. You know, I was doing enough, like, but wasn't hitting the heights. Like, I was probably having a 5 out of 10 performances, nothing like that major. So the fella comes up to me on Saturday, said, "I want you for an hour here Saturday morning," and sure gets the tractor, the transport box, gets a stake and a hammer. Here's the fence broke here, but takes me up the field and gets the stake fixed. But there's nothing wrong really. Just only get me on my own, and he absolutely tore into me.
The day before the final?
Day before.
One of the fields over here behind us.
Tore into me about he said, "You've been shite all year." He said, "If you don't cop yourself on now," he said, "you'll be pulled off the pitch tomorrow for 10 minutes and it gets us out, and you're playing against," he said, "me," they said, "and it's either you or Garrett who's going to get the All-Star, or you or Garrett who's going to get this and that and other." He says, "That's you up against," he said.
It's sports psychology back
Thanks,
in the day.
thanks, Paddy. Down the road and a sheepish up the road thinking this, you know. But yeah, and as I say, in the final, you know, first couple of balls, you're kind of going, Jesus, I'm looking over my shoulder here to see what's going on. But
You end up with one of the great All-Ireland finals.
All's well that ends well.
yeah,
10 points and like...
Take that.
Yeah, Jesus. But it is fine lines. You know, you mentioned Billy there playing in 4 All-Ireland finals. You know, you've got the 2. And, like, you've got the 3 years now. Winter training is back. Like, have you got the bug again straight away? I know you were saying...
Yeah, it took me a long time, Tommy, there, but I met the lads just last Saturday just to kind of outline where we're going for the next couple of weeks before we go training. But yeah, I have it back again, yeah, and the enthusiasm is there, yeah, could you say, yeah. So I was trying to change a few things and try and hopefully we'll...
Yeah.
Here in a year's time talking something different.
Well, last one. Next year is 25 years from that 0-1 win. And you know, John O'Mahony isn't with us anymore. I know he had such an impact on you. We can tell from chatting to you and listening to you over the last hour or so how much the club means, but Galway too, like, means so much to you. And I'm sure that team in 0-1 means so much to you too, because Jesus, you were young fellas like who had just won 2 All-Irelands together. You were top of the world, you know. So are you still all in touch and close?
We would. We'd all be close enough. Even the 98 squad, we were up there. You know, you're laughing, Ken, you know, when you're going up these 25-year waves, you're thinking like, jeez, we won't be getting that. Will we be walking sticks or what? Yeah. But we did one a couple of years ago. It was a great crack, good night out, and we'll have one next year, which is great again. You know.
Well, hopefully you won't be up there. Hopefully
I can send in Charlie or someone to do it. But to be great, like, we are in contact, we are in touch, you know, and even like we're all healthy. I think Paul Clancy, unfortunately, the poor devil has gone through a little.
I heard that. Very tough
at the minute, but look, we're all behind him. I speak to him regular enough, so he's fighting a battle there at the minute. So
again, Paul and
he's only like Paul's 49, lovely fella, great wife and Joanna and the kids, you know. So hopefully it's only a little battle that he gets through, you know. But like
we heard my Cullen boys speaking earlier a couple of weeks ago as well about it. You know, like it's
and look at it. And again, Paul probably. You know, everyone's different in their own, but like he's taken my Cullen from where they were, the 3 county finals. But he started all that, like becoming chairman of the club, getting stuff in place, getting everyone in.
He came on with us a couple of years ago. It was brilliant.
So great fella. But again, like that group at 0-1, you know, like great crack, you know, along the years. You know, lose the Connacht Championship, come back, and you travel down to Ockram, playing Wicklow. You kind of go, and you're nearly 2 days gone, come back up. Then you're into Crow Park for a couple of games, and then we draw Roscommon again. I remember down in Castlebar, you know, there's no need for John O'Mahony to open his mouth that day because we knew we owed Roscommon one from that year, you know. And and just built up then and ended up in the final and win it. And great lads, we mightn't see them as much as often, but there's always an odd text going. And in fairness, the majority of them would text me 4 games and wish you well, but they text you after too, let you know what you did wrong as well. So it's good.
Yeah.
It's good buzz.
Well, Padraic Joyce, unless the lads have any more they want to jump in on, really appreciate your time. Yeah. Thanks for joining us on the Football Pod Club. Talk about like a life in football where so much has been achieved and you've so many lessons from it, and there's plenty more chapters to be written. So really appreciate you joining us this evening and bringing us down to Killererin and getting to see the brilliant clubhouse, and hopefully the club can bounce their way back and bring themselves back to glory again, you know. Yeah,
look, it's a pleasure. Enjoyed the last hour, it was great, and look, the club will all be here no matter what. So
thanks, man. Lovely. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
The Football Pod Club, on Off the Ball, in partnership with AIB, proud supporters of the AIB All-Ireland Club Championships for men's football, hurling, ladies football and camogie, because we believe support is what gets you the life you're truly after.